What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I haven't uploaded in a couple weeks because I've been waiting on parts and other things, but the weather's starting to get nicer out, so that is a good thing. It's been extremely windy and it's been raining a ton, but I figured I'd at least make some sort of an update video for the Accord. Last video I was having a bit of trouble fitting the turbo in my engine bay without hitting the radiator, and with the exhaust dumping right into the alternator location, I couldn't really get around putting a downpipe there. So I was gonna do a hood exit. So I did actually purchase this 3-inch hood exit here. Comes with a bung, and I was totally gonna use this, but I really don't like using hood exits, and I don't have any spare hoods. In case like I didn't want to go with the hood exit, maybe I wanted to do a downpipe or something different, because originally I wanted the exhaust to dump out underneath the car, but with not having any spare hoods, I do have some spare fenders, so I routed it out of the fender, and that's what I'm going to show you now. Alright, so I'm out at the Accord here, and I apologize if there's any wind noise in the video because it is super windy, like I said. So I'm going to get the hood open here, but I have to pause the video because it's super hard to do with one hand. Alright, so you'll see there's a couple minor differences in here from the last time. You've already seen me put in the half-core radiator here so I can have some room up in here. The wastegate tube I just cut and just welded out this way. Eventually I'm going to route it out with the downpipe because I don't want anything coming out of the hood. But for the downpipe, I just got a 3-inch V-band flange and I welded that to a couple reducers, and then I have a flex pipe going out the side of the driver's fender here. It's going to be loud, but works for me. I don't really care about it being too loud. One thing that I did want to show you guys was that I took the factory alternator bracket off. It was sitting right here, and I ordered an alternator bracket from Amazon. It was like the cheapest of the cheap. I'll go ahead and throw in a picture of it now, how I purchased it. But yeah, that alternator bracket that I purchased was only about 40 or 50 bucks, and it takes the location of where the AC pump was down at the bottom of the block. And with it being so cheap, I kind of expected it not to fit very good, so I had to customize it a little bit in order to make it fit. One big thing is I don't know if you can see or not, but the pulley is kind of offset just a little bit. It's just kind of crooked, and your factory belt won't work with this relocation. You'll have to get a new belt, and I do have a part number in case you want to do the same thing here, relocate your alternator, because you'll have to get this new belt in order to make it work. So here's that belt part number I was talking about, in case you want to take this exact number here to your parts store and get the belt so you can relocate your alternator like I did. If for some reason they don't have this part number or they don't recognize this part number, this stands for a serpentine belt that's 4 rib and it's 32 inches in length. So just tell them that that's what you need, and they should hook you up with one of these belts. The alternator belt that I'm using is actually from a 21 Range Rover Discovery, I believe. Could be mistaken, but it's a serpentine belt. It's a 4 rib and it's 32 inches in length. I know the pulleys are 6 rib on the harmonic balancer and 6 rib for your alternator pulley, but considering I deleted the power steering and the AC pump as well, I don't need a 6 rib. The 4 rib will be plenty strong, And it actually helps because with the offset of the pulley here, I can run the 4 ribs on the outer 4 ribs of this pulley and the inner 4 ribs of this pulley. It kind of helps with how the pulleys are offset, and it actually works. It doesn't throw any belts. I can, you know, go all the way through the rev range and it's not going to throw a belt off or anything, so that's cool. One thing you'll also have to do is extend your alternator wiring harness here. So you've got one main positive that comes down, it's a 10 mil here on the front, and then you'll have a 4 pin connector that plugs into the side here. I just cut that off and extended it about 5 or 6 inches. And I also added a couple tie straps down here in order to keep it off of the downpipe so that we're not melting things. But I'll go ahead and fire it up and show you how it's sounding now. It's a really slow process working on this car with a tight budget, but I figure if I poke at it every now and swap, then eventually it'll get done. Good oil pressure. We still got no lights. Up here and then I'll rev it up a couple times. So like I said, it's, you know, it's pretty loud, but it doesn't seem to bother me any. I was expecting it to be loud anyways because this is a turbo from, you know, eBay, Amazon. Even though I spent upwards of $600 on it, it's still a knockoff turbo, and I don't want to have any added resistance on the turbo. So coming out of the Fender here is going to work just fine, and if I get tired of it in the future, I've got another set of fenders that I can throw on here and change up the exhaust if I really wanted to. I know it seems like a really slow process getting the Accord done, but that being said, I did just order an intercooler and a 255 LPH fuel pump. So after we get those installed, we are basically ready for a tune. Haven't totally decided what I'm going to do yet for a tune, but I guess we'll figure that out once we get there. But I'm actually on my lunch break, so I'm going to eat and get back to work. Definitely stay tuned for the next video.